talking about some foot stomping, hand clapping church this morning.
Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart, and God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread, healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed, and we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory, we give you peace, we give you honor, we give you blessing, we give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you, the fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it. In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes, You O Cubed. What does O Cubed stand for? One-on-one. It's just me and you. I am your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and I'm so glad that you joined me on today. It's Hump Day, you all. It's Wednesday. Can you believe it? It's here already. Wednesday, May the 31st in the year 2023. And it's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. I want to appreciate every last one of you that have joined me here on today. And you know how we get it crack-a-lacking. Oh my goodness, Michelle Browno is in here. Michelle Browno is already here. Y'all, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Michelle Browno is already here. We just don't even know what's going to happen today. Anything can happen. Oh, Lord. Anything, Michelle, anything can happen to us today. Listen, it's a good day to be here, and I'm so glad that every last one of you are here with me. Thank you so much for being here with me on this morning. Now, this is what we're going to do. I want to get this party started, get this party crack-a-lacking, and have some conversation with the saints up in here. We're going to start first and foremost. I want to give it up for those that came in the VIP section this morning. And listen, this is the way we're going to do it, because we had two folks in this morning, but then let me look. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to her. Because listen, she's up in here, the third person in the Lion's Den this morning, saints. The Rebel Inc. Good morning, Rebel. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in here and make yourself at home. I'm going to let you sit over there in the chair. Yes, I'm going to let you sit over there right on the love seat, right over there. Cross your legs, kick back, get you a cup of coffee. And today you're going to relax before we come over to see you because you are the third person. Rebel, that's the cracks. You are the third person in the Lions Den this morning. And I want to say good morning to you. Now, the second person that came in dead of night in the middle of the evening hour, y'all, in the middle of the late in the midnight hour was none other than Cassandra Isaiah. Come on in here, sis. You did that. You did. Thank you so much for coming in, Cassandra, and mad love to you. The Saints were tired last night. Y'all said, listen, I'm going to bed, and when I go to sleep, I ain't getting up till I get good and ready. The winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair, yes, she came in at the 12 o'clock hour. She said, I ain't playing with y'all. I'm getting my lips, my hips, and my fingertips in that chair, and it was none other than KK79, you are the winner of Grandpa Holmes' chair. Yes, you did that, sis. You did it. Come on in here. I'm so very happy. Let's give it up one more time. That's my lovely one, y'all. That's my lovely one. And I appreciate you, sis, for coming in. I mean, you did due diligence. 12 o'clock on the dot. You were in there, sis. You were in there. And I appreciate you and nothing but mad love. Honey, I tell you, that's my beautiful soul right there. That's my beautiful soul right there. And once more and again, congratulations. Now, listen, this is how we're going to do it in here because you know I've got the best mods in the world. So go ahead and get that mod love out. Get that mod love out because these babies right here, I'm telling you, they're all that and a bag of chips. They take care of the Lion's Den so efficiently. I just couldn't make it without them. Shelly Thunder. Oh, she's in here, Saint. She's in here. She is the prophetess. That's what I call her. She is the prophetess. And she'll come in and give you a word from Zion. She'll give you a prayer when you need one, but she'll block your tail. She will do it. Don't play with her. As she says every time she gets a chance to testify, try Jesus, but don't try us because we will shut you down. And then she's led by the leader of the pack, none other than the Rebel Inc. Yes, the Rebel Inc. She's in here, Saint. She's in here. She is a streamer, and we'll be going over there in just a few minutes. But listen, if you're not following the Rebel Inc., quit your wicked ways. Yes, quit them. Just quit your wicked ways. Because listen, she's going to bless you. I promise you she will. I see that mod love DJ Rockin' Ron. I see that mod love Tall Pumps. I see that mod love MCP 812. Come on in here. Listen, everybody, I see you. I see you, KK79. I see you. Come on. Don't you want to go? Yes. Michelle Browno, I see that mod love. Come on in with it. I appreciate you. Everybody that's putting that mod love out there. Yoshi's son, I see it. Listen, that's the way we do it in the Lion's Den, these beautiful ladies. And then, of course, bringing up the third part of the Blessed Trinity, the quiet storm. Yes, the quiet storm. That's my angel. Crystal Method, I see that mod love. Yes, that is my angel because she changes the atmosphere just by being in it. These three beautiful ladies are my blessed trinity. And thank you for listen, Shelly Thunder said hashtag gang gang, hashtag MSW, hashtag BAHM, hashtag try Jesus, not us. Those are my angels right there, the blessed trinity. Now let me come on around and let's get down and let's talk about a few things. I want to say good morning. Now listen, I want to say good morning to the Rebel Inc. I see you. Good morning, morning DJ Rockin' Ron. Listen, he is a streamer, you all. If you're not following DJ Rockin' Ron, quit chewing away. Yes, quit him. Because listen, he's going to bless your whole soul. That's my brother right there. Yes, and the Rebel Inc. is also, as I said earlier, she's also a streamer. Please make sure you're following her. And if you're not, quit chewing away. Quit him. Just quit him. That's what Crazy Berrytown said. Glenda M. Groves, I see you out there, sis, and mad love to you. One reason the Bishop of Twitch, he's not here, but he's here. Now listen, if you're not following One Reason, the Bishop of Twitch, quit your wicked ways. Yes, quit your wicked ways, because, honey, he's going to bless you. I promise you he will. That's my brother, and I love me some him. Then we've got Glenda M. Groves out there in the YouTube community holding it down. Good morning to you, sis. Nothing but mad love coming to you. Yoshi's son 77 is also a gamer and a streamer. If you're not following Yoshi's son 77, that's my son 77. Quit your wicked ways. Quit your wicked ways. Because listen, he's going to bless your whole life. I love me some you, son. I love me some you. Coming on down, and I see Tall Pumps. It's pumping tall. That's my gorgeous sister from Chi-Town. Good morning to you. That's my partner in crime and solutions, Saints. And she's also the moderator for Woman Unsilenced. Yes, Woman Unsilenced is awesome out here. I appreciate you all. Uh-oh, do I not have the alerts up? Let me click on that if y'all putting those alerts in, because I haven't seen anything yet. Nonetheless, Woman Unsilenced, if you're not following her, go out there and follow my sister, because she'll bless your whole entire life. I promise you she will. Mad love to you, sis. Mad love to you. Coming on down, and who else do I see but Crystal Method? That's my girl. So much mad love to you. Come on in here this morning, and it's good to see you. Coming down, and I'm looking, and I'm booking, and I'm making a list, and I'm checking it twice, and I already know who's naughty and who's nice. Stirs the soul. Wouldn't it be that your name is the next name I see? Yes, Stirs the Soul is my wordsmith. I appreciate you. He's out there running, y'all. He's getting his exercise on, but he just wanted to come in and get on the leaderboard. Come on in here, and I'm giving up so much love to you, my brother. You're always a blessing when I see you anywhere. It's a blessing. Shelly Thunder. Yes, the prophetess is in the room, and she's a mod extraordinary, not only here in the Lion's Den, but she's modding. She's here. She's everywhere. Shelly Thunder, good morning to you. And while I got you and we're on the mod vibe link, let me go ahead and say good morning. Michelle Brownell is here. Yes, Michelle is here, y'all. Michelle is here. And anything can happen. Please believe it. Anything can happen today, because she's here and she's an on-time mod. Yes, she is. Come on in here, Michelle Brownell, and nothing but mad love to you. Now, I'm coming on to anything, Michelle. Anything. Miracles, signs, and wonders. I love you, sis. And then we come on down to the high priestess. Dr. Daddy Priest is in the room this morning. She's in the room. Nothing but mad love to you. I appreciate you for being here. She is the person in charge of Engagement Matters. Don't believe it? Listen, let me tell you, she is. I promise you she is. That's my girl right there, and good morning to you. Coming on down, and who else do I see but KK Michelle and KK79? So much love to you. Yes, that's my beautiful soul. You just ain't gonna find a more beautiful soul than KK Michelle. And I'm telling you, KK79, I love me some you. Thank you for your untiring support. Now, coming on down, and who else do I see? Oh my goodness, everybody that's here is just beautiful. Everybody that's here is just marvelous. But I see Truck Driver. That's my Mufasa. Mufasa. That's my Lion King. Yes, that's my brother from another mother. Till 10 toes up and palms down. That's my guy. I love you, Truck, and it's good to see you this morning. Come back on Sunday morning. Well, no, this Sunday I'm not going to be here. This Sunday I'm on assignment, so I'll be out this Sunday once more and again. 2 Sundays back to back. But hopefully after this Sunday we'll have a different flow. But I've got someplace I've got to be. But come back the week after next, and Truck Driver's gonna give you Thug Life Devotions and bless your whole life. Coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm booking and I'm seeing who else is in the Lions Den this morning. Because listen, I don't want to miss not one person that's in the number. I appreciate every last one of you. Now I'm coming on down, and I'm seeing, I think I'm almost to the end of the road. I'm trying to make a quick look and see if anybody came in the basement while I was upstairs. My Lock Journey, I can't miss my girl. My Lock Journey, yes, she's the lock whisperer. She is here, saints. She is here, and nothing but mad love to you. Thank you for being in the midst on this morning. DJ Drew Williams is in the, and My Lock Journey is a streamer. I'm glad I caught that. She is a streamer, and if you're not following her, quit your ways. Yes, quit your wicked ways, because she's going to bless your whole life, along with DJ Drew Williams. Make sure you're following my brother, because listen, he's going to bless your life as well. If you're not following him, quit your wicked ways. Just quit them. Because listen, there's a blessing. There's a blessing in the pressing if you'll just do it. Now, I saved the best for last because I had to come here this morning. Yes, on this fine day. This is the day that we are celebrating my sister, cousin, pastor, friend, because it's her birthday. So y'all put it in there for MCP 812. Yes, that's my girl. She said this is her last year in her 60s, and look out 70s, because she's coming in like gangbusters. But listen, this is the way we do it in the Lions Den. I'm so happy that you're a part of my family, and I just gotta tell you, I love you, MCP 812, otherwise known as Two Tams or Two Tambourines. Happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Nothing but mad love to you, sis. Nothing but mad love to you. And we're going to celebrate you. Yes, we are. We are going to celebrate you. Come on in here. And again, mad love to you. Now, that being said and that being done, I love everybody that's here in the Lion's Den. I appreciate you. Let me take a quick look and see who's in Facebook this morning, if anybody's talking over here, because I always, KK Michelle, I see you, and I saw you were in Lurk, but I saw you talking at the same time. So appreciate you. I'm looking and I'm booking and I'm checking it out. I think that's the only people that are actually talking so far in the Lion's Den, but I do want to say to those that are just auditing and you're not talking and you're quiet in the chat, I want to appreciate your presence as well, even though you may not be actually talking. Eddie Love, come on in here. You said, I'm here out there in Facebook. You better hold down the fort. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a mad pleasure to be here, sitting here with each of you. Demon Fox, come on. Demon Fox the God is in here this morning. So much mad love coming to you. Come on in the house, because we getting ready to have a conversation. Now, listen, there's several things that I want to cover this morning, so I'm going to try to move hastily, but y'all know I'm a preacher. You know, preachers just get caught up and we just get to talking. But I'm gonna try to keep it moving, because I got someplace that I want to be before we wrap this up, because I got a lot to say and a lot of things to cover. Now listen, what had happened was, get your coffee cup out. I know it's Tall Pumps. I know who you are. I know who you are, Edie. I just didn't put the Tall Pumps on there, but yes, I know who you are. I see your coffee cup, MCP812. Come on in here. Get your coffee cups out. This is the way we're going to do it in my lock journey. I see your coffee cups. And I once more and again want to say to all of you all that are out there pushing that algorithm, KK Michelle has already shared the channel. I want to appreciate you, KK. I saw that right off the bat. I can't talk with you all in typing while I'm live. For those of you that are out there in Facebook, for those of you that are out there in LinkedIn, I'm unable to communicate with you by typing, but I can see you out there. So just keep talking, and I'm trying to train myself to make sure and look in the other locations to track everybody and be able to communicate with each one of you. But thank you, because you're pushing that logarithm. You guys are that algorithm. You're just pushing it. You're just pushing that algorithm, and I thank you. Now listen, my lock journey, I see you. Tall Pumps, I see you. Prince Jacob, Mr. Rebuttal, the principal take two. Good morning to you, and I see you out there in the YouTube land holding it down. I appreciate you. And KK Michelle out there in Facebook, I see every last one of you. Now listen, the Rebel Inc., I see your coffee cups. Come on in here. Now today, after a follow-up to yesterday, you know, well, really it's not a follow-up to yesterday. This is the direction I was going anyway. But at the end of the day, I do want to say I appreciate Crystal Method. I see those coffee cups. Come on in here. Candace Dominique, I see those coffee cups. Come on in here. We got a new YouTuber, Candace Dominique. Thank you so much. I got a feeling I know who you are, but I'm so glad that even in the YouTube channel, you're holding up the light. Thank you so much. Now, we had the conversation on yesterday, excuse me, and we had the individual that felt that I was being divisive, and you know, this is so sad, and I would hope and welcome that they come back if my mods didn't ban them, you know. So at the end of the day, yes, Candace, let's go. At the end of the day, I get it. Some people are raised to think that if you shine a light on certain issues, that you're being negative and that it's divisive in its nature. That goes for those of you that came out of families. What happens in our family stays in our family. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, when you go to church, what happens in the church stays in the church. And I'm going to say for this purpose, even here, obviously on Twitch, you know, what happens and what the truth of the situation that's going on in our community, we don't need to talk on that, because that's divisive, or we're exposing ourselves, or whatever the case may be. That typically goes along with a situation where there's abuse and a desire to cover up. And I said what I said. It usually is associated with a situation of abuse and the desire to cover stuff up and not address things in its reality. But I contend that you're not going to get a healing until you get the infection and you get whatever's in there out. So, you know, I had a true story. I had a terrible hornet sting. As a matter of fact, there were several hornets, Glenda. You know I'm telling the truth. Several hornets stung me. I was out in the backyard, was a whole hornet's nest, and child, it's a wonder I didn't die, because I mean they tore me up. And I swole, baby. I swole. They had to cut my class ring off and at the emergency room. And it was a situation, as it would be, one of those fingers messed around and got seriously infected. And I tell you, you haven't felt pain till you get a really, really bad infection like that. And so at the end of the day, come on, my luck journey, I'm telling you, it was something else. And a hornet sting is so much more painful than a wasp sting, bee sting. Hornets, I just don't know what's in that venom that they release, but I'm telling you, this girl was on fire. And ultimately, my thumb really got infected. And so what they had to do was lance it. And when I tell you, when they slit that thing open, now that may sound like, oh my God, that's so nasty, that's so ugly, that's so whatever. You talk about instant relief. Instant relief from pain. Now, the smell was horrible. The smell was absolutely horrible, because, honey, all of that green pus that came out of there. But listen, once it got released out of my finger, I felt good. I'm telling you, Shelly Thunder, I felt so much better. It was almost like instant relief. I'm not lying. That finger was on fire. It was throbbing. It was aching and in pain. It was terrible. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, Glenda, that when you've got these situations where the infection has set up in there, it will have us throbbing. It will have us in pain. It will have us traumatized and going through all kinds of situations. But at the end of the day, when they lanced that thing open, please believe me when I say, when they lanced that thing open, I don't care how bad it smelled, because it stunk. I ain't lying. But when they lanced that thing open and all of that green came out, when I tell you, I felt so much better. And I'm saying that as an analogy to the pus that has set up in our community, having held all this mess in. And I'm going to say the same thing in your families, where, you know, what happens in our family don't go outside of this family, and all of this. Listen, you got to expose, you got to lance and cut, you got to get that infection out of there. If you don't get it out, it's going to take you out, and you will continue to be in excruciating pain. So at the end of the day, y'all, I'm telling you, this is what we do here in the Lion's Den Crystal Method. This is what we do. And so I am okay. That happened in, many, many years ago. But listen, people have died from hornet stings, and especially the way I did it. I messed around. I was trying to open the latch of a car. My dad was a shade tree mechanic, as we would call him, but everybody brought their cars to my dad, and I was you know how you have to get the hood up, you do that, latch on the inside of the car, but then you still got to go around and squeeze that latch underneath to get the hood released. And baby, I squeezed that thing right on the hornet's nest, and baby, when I tell you, oh my God, my arm was swollen, my arm all the way up to my elbow. And a little bit beyond. It just was not a pretty situation, and it was extremely painful. But I'm glad to be here too. Mish 8 is in the room. There's my sister, and she is a streamer, y'all. Come on in here. Salute to you, beautiful one. If you're not following Mish 8, quit your wicked ways. Yes, quit your wicked ways, because she's going to bless your whole life. I promise you she will. And good morning to you, and thank you for dropping in. So this is what I'm doing. For those that feel like, as our friend said on yesterday, that I'm being divisive and all of that, that is not my goal, and it's not done in that energy. Dom the Gamer, come on in here, and so much mad love to you. Thank you for following, and welcome to the Lion's Den. So I just wanted to get that disclaimer in and say to you, no, that's not what we're about, and that's not what what we're doing. So this is the way we roll in the Lion's Den. Now, I am going to cover some things today because we've been talking about racism. We've been exposing racism, but we also been dealing with the factor of coming together and unifying so we can make a different reality in the Black community. Once more and again, come on in here. Good to see everybody that's coming in. Let me say once more and again, I am not racist. I'm not a reverse racist. The Black house is on fire. In my Blackness and pride of being Black, I'm putting the fire out in my house. And anybody that wants to come and grab a bucket, anybody that wants to get a hose and help put the fire out, you are absolutely positively welcome. But be it understood, this energy is put towards putting the fire out in the Black community. Now, that being said, I want to come here and I want to wow, today is going to probably be what some may consider to be potentially explosive, but at the end of the day, there's no apology here because we're healing the house. That's what we're doing. We're healing the house. Now, this right here, I'm gonna come here quick, fast, and in a hurry. This brother talks about some things, and I think a lot of our young people have this same sentiment that they really, really, really would like to see the Black community change some things. We want to change some things. And so I want to come here. I want to come here and I want to share things that this sister says we want to stop in the Black community. Fairly all day, my dearest friend is in the room. Good morning to you. And Fairly all day, listen, she is my girl and she's a vibe all by herself. Good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Come on in. Now listen, let's take a listen and you all, I want you to see the energy that this young Black brother has in response to her question. And so here we go.
That Black people, especially older Black people, are not ready to hear.
I got 8 things for you and I'm gonna go ahead and get out your way. Number 1, many of you abused us as children and we are all recovering from our childhood. Number 2, white Jesus, let him go. Number 3, the pedophiles that exist within our own families that you all don't want us to talk about because you don't want the family to look bad. Stop protecting them. Number 4, stop teaching our young girls this idea of struggle love that they have to accept the bare minimum in relationships. Number 5, stop teaching our young boys that it's not okay to cry and or show emotion, that toxic masculinity has been passed down through far too many generations. Number 6, the homophobia in our community is based largely in part to the older generation and their religious beliefs that have long since been debunked. Number 7, stop gaslighting the younger people in your community and or in your family just because you're older and you think you deserve respect just because you're old, and some of y'all mad disrespectful. And last but not least, therapy. Stop telling us not to go get therapy. Stop telling us what happens in this house stays in this house. I'm done.
Name something.
Now, I'm gonna let that roll again, but y'all see that brother had energy. I see you, KK. You know how we do it in here. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z-Tis. And I'm gonna say for this young brother and his generation, check, please. Listen, at the end of the day, I want you to understand, BTD Mom, I see you in here. Come on in here, and so much love to you. Now, this brother came with all the energy to respond to this question. Because listen, I'm telling you, he's not far from many of the young people in his generation. So listen, her question, what are some things that some older folk in the Black community may not be ready to hear, but it needs to be said anyway? My Lock Journey, I see you. He said what he said, and I'm gonna roll him one more time because brother, he was anointed for this answer. Come on, here we go.
That Black people, especially older Black people, are not ready to hear.
I got 8 things for you and I'm gonna go ahead and get out your way. Number 1, many of you abused us as children and we are all recovering from our childhood. Number 2, white Jesus, let him go. Number 3, the pedophiles that exist within our own families that you all don't want us to talk about because you don't want the family to look bad. Stop protecting them. Number 4, stop teaching our young girls this idea of struggle love that they have to accept the bare minimum in relationships. Number 5, stop teaching our young boys that it's not okay to cry and or show emotion, that toxic masculinity has been passed down through far too many generations. Number 6, the homophobia in our community is based largely in part to the older generation and their religious beliefs that have long since been debunked. Number 7, stop gaslighting the younger people in your community and or in your family just because you're older and you think you deserve respect just because you're old, and some of y'all mad disrespectful. And last but not least, therapy. Stop telling us not to go get therapy. Stop telling us what happens in this house stays in this house. I'm done.
Name something that black people.
Baby. Did he line it out? Did he lay it out there for the saints? Because listen, obviously, he's had enough. And I think, again, this is not far from the truth for many of the young people in his generation. Tall Pump said, and in that order, he said the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help him God. Honey 41, come on in here, love. Good morning to you, and mad love. Now listen, Bishop said, and I'm going to really harp on that last one. Blessings and favor to you too, Honey 41. Stop telling the folks to not to get therapy. I will say, honey, brother spoke, MCP 812. He spoke. It's almost like Planet of the Apes, if anybody saw the new versions, when everybody was shocked when he spoke. When Caesar talked, he spoke. Baby, he spoke like Caesar spoke. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? That baby broke that thing down. Do you understand? And he said, these are things that we need to stop. And at the end of the day, even from the standpoint, it wasn't like that for everyone. I agree with you, Demon Fox. But now, I will say a lot of that generation, I would say he may have spoken for a good majority of that generation, Demon Fox, because a lot of things happened. And I will say, now, we had a different respect code. You didn't agree with most of what he was saying. I got you, Demon Fox. And hey, I said, listen, I'm not sure. And with that being said, can you give me age demographic? Whether you're you don't have to say your age in years, but Gen X, if you're baby boomer, if you're what? Give me an idea where you fall on the spectrum of age. And I'm glad that that's not your reality. I'm absolutely glad that's not here we go with Rebel Inc. He spoke the truth. So I see you. And I saw many of you. And I know that age demographic is what's making the difference, in my opinion. Now, I'll say even when he said a lot of the older people can be, you're 50 and you'll be 51 in a couple of weeks. Thank you. And I'm going to put you probably in my age demographic to some extent. Give your age in TV sitcoms. That's a good way to do it, because if you talk about the sitcoms that you watched, it will definitely reveal the age group that you come from. Yoshi's son said it was the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So there we have, even here in the Lion's Den, different perspectives. I would say that I'm on that older perspective, and even though I may not have had it the same way, because I'm gonna tell you what, some of these younger parents to younger age groups have been mad disrespectful to their kids. Now, I'm just gonna say, I've seen some things and I've witnessed some things that I'm just like, what? Say what now? I've seen, and I said this the other week, and I'm gonna say it again. And I think a lot of times, you're good times old. Come on, Stirs, you're good times old. I will say, go ahead, tell your age by your sitcom. Put it in there, because I want to see. That's great. Give your age by your TV sitcom. Give your age by your TV sitcom. Your apologies if you miss. Oh, okay. You're saying good morning there. You're the Facts of Life old. Come on, honey 41. Come on, Facts of Life. Now, Cassandra Woke 2022, come on in here, and mad love to you. Yoshi Son said I'm Webster old. Come on. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. You're Silver Spoons old. Come on in here, Rebel Inc. Y'all, you better tell your age. Now, this is what I am understanding. We even were taught, and listen, let me see. I'm rawhide old. I'm rawhide old. I'm Gunsmoke old. Okay. I'm Leave It to Beaver old. Let me see. Your Little House on the Prairie old. Y'all understand what you Soul Train old. Y'all who in here remembers Rawhide? That's Bonanza age, honey. And I thought Little Joe was the cutest, handsomest little thing walking on the TV set because they didn't have nobody that looked like me. So I had to go for the other white meat. So listen, Wild Wild West old. Come on, MCPA 12. I'm right there with you, y'all. Y'all don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. I'm High Noon. Oh, that's not a movie. That's a movie. It's not a sitcom. Let me find the sitcom. I'm Bewitched old. You understand the words that the other white meat. Listen, I'm Bewitched old. I'm Raisin in the Sun. You're Night Court old and Cosby Show though. Some of y'all young folks in here, yo mama still watch all those shows every day. Michelle Brown old. You understand what I'm telling? I'm at the TV goes off at midnight old. You Waltons old. Come on in here. Good night, John Boy. Listen, I Love Lucy rerun old. Now that's the rerun. I saw the original. How about that? I saw the original. I'm Dick Van Dyke old. Y'all better come on in here and talk to me. Now, you Good Times old. I'm trying to tell y'all. You're Barnaby Jones. Oh, y'all, listen. I love me some Barnaby with that walk run. He wasn't running, but he made it look like he was running. You got the Jefferson old in here, Glenda. You better come on in. You Sonny and Cher old. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. How about Cara Burnett old? Y'all know, y'all some old folk in here. Now, I want y'all to understand. All my children still on. Oh, Jesse and Angie old. And Dallas old. Who killed JR? Who killed him? Who did it? I'm trying to tell you. And Luke and Laura. The wedding of the century. Y'all ain't ready for me. You get up and turn the TV channel on. And some seasoned folk up in here, honey, 41. You John Wade old. Hang up. Dang, you ain't that old. Come on here, DJ Drew Williams. I remember Ed Sullivan. MCPA 12, you sharing all your 69 years. You get up and change the channel. Oh, I'm trying to tell you. You Claudine, oh, come on in. And what was the Julia? Do y'all remember Julia? Y'all remember? I done really jumped out. I'm Julia old. Julia and Corey. Y'all remember? Okay, y'all don't know nothing about that. I know y'all don't know nothing about that. And so you Peyton Place old. I'm trying to tell you, when Peyton Place was considered X-rated on TV. Now you know Peyton Place ain't nothing now, but honey, back in my day, you bet not say Peyton Place, cause honey, you were trampish if you up here watching Peyton Place. So at the end, you shot JR. But you didn't shoot the deputy. You shot the sheriff, but you didn't shoot the deputy. You love both old. Y'all old in here. So listen, you hanger on the antenna old. How about the foil? How about the foil on the y'all too much in here. You Barbara Mandrell old. Y'all listen, y'all old. You Joan Rivers. Can we talk? You Joan Rivers old. Lord Jesus, y'all having fun. You 8-track old. You clothesline. Y'all old in here. Y'all, I just want y'all to know. I'm called the operator for an assistant call old. Come on in here. Y'all better talk to me. Oh, MCP, you, of course you remember. Nobody else remembers Julia and Corey. Honey, those were some. Room 222. Y'all don't know nothing about room 2. Don't mess with me, because listen, I can pull some stuff out. You Benny Hill old. I'm soap old. Y'all don't know nothing about soap. Glenda, come on, girl. Talk to me. You called the phone from the phone booth with it. No, I'm going to take you one place. Did you call with a dime or did you call with a quarter? If you called on the phone booth, Rebel, my question to you was, did you call with a dime or did you call with the quarter? That's the $64,000. Yes, you trampish. If you've been watching Peyton Place, you was trampish. You got the aluminum foil on the antenna. Oh, y'all better come on in here. Y'all listen, we done got you nostalgic in here, Tall Pumps, because listen, all these memories, we just having them. Black and white TV. Oh, listen, you better ask somebody. Click the... What you mean click the cable button? What was cable? What was cable? You had channel 4, you had channel 5, Michelle, you had channel 9, and you might get on a VHF, UHF, you might have got channel 19, channel 41, and then we thought we were doing something when we got channel 62. You better quit. Now, at the end of the day, y'all some old folk up in here. You busy signal old. You reel to reel old. You're dollar story old. Y'all better talk in here. Y'all better talk in here. You're Captain. Ooh, come on with Captain Kangaroo. I love me some Captain Kangaroo. Y'all better know something. Before there was ever Muppets and all of that, honey, Captain Kangaroo. There was one in the bed and the little one said, roll over. Good night. That's what I'm talking about, Captain Kangaroo. You TV signed off old. Y'all better come on here. Ruth the sex educator old. I remember that, but you ain't too old on that. Listen. It was oh no, you young. If the phone booth was a quarter, you're young. Because listen, I see all these quarters in here, baby. Dime. You had to have a dime. You had to have and listen, y'all better not talk about the rotary phone, because I got a rotary phone in here. I'm just not going to hunt and pull it out. But I got a rotary phone in my house right now. Don't play with me. You 10 cents in your pocket old. Listen, you penny candy old when the candy was actually 1 penny. Don't y'all mess with me. You yellow phone book old when the white pages. Y'all better talk to me. Captain Noah. Oh, now, Crystal Method, what is Captain Noah? You done got one on me, sister. You Pee Wee Herman old. Y'all young in here. Listen, these young kids in here, y'all barely wet behind the ears. Listen, stirs the soul. You're good because we're enjoying this track. We're enjoying this track that you put us on. This walk down memory lane, honey. The saints are enjoying this. Zoo what? Yoshi son? I don't need. Oh, Zoobity Zoo. Listen, I'm trying to remember if I remember that one. I might be too old to remember. Rebel said I'm Morse code. Y'all need Jesus. How about Reading Rainbow? But those came later on. Y'all still some young pups in here. Shawshank Redemption. Oh, come on with that. Who food stamp book? Oh. S&S stamps. Oh, come on in here, Tall Pumps. Y'all done went back. You recycle Coke bottles. Listen, you take them to the store and you put them on the little rollers, and you put all of your cases of empty pop bottles and just roll them down there, and they give you some money back for those bottles. You better talk to me. I remember all of that. Listen, I remember MCP812. You know I ain't lying. I remember transformers on the phone line that would blow up and explode. Y'all don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. I said on the telephone. I remember the telephone poles that had glass transformers on them, and they would explode. Y'all don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. Now, y'all done took us. Somebody said I'm government cheese old. But you better ask somebody. That government cheese was the best cheese. We had people that would give us, my dad was a pastor, and they had what they called pounds. They didn't have money, so what they would do, they would bring food in lieu of money to undergird the pastor in his pastoral ministry. Because listen, we wasn't having salaries and all that like y'all have. So, excuse me. We had some members that gave us government cheese, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Ben Vereen, come on. I got you, Yoshi son. And listen, ain't no cheese like that government cheese. That's all I can say. I don't know about the new government cheese, excuse me. I don't know about the new government cheese, but listen, that old government cheese, baby, it take you to Zion. It would take you in. I'm here to tell you, you ain't made no macaroni and cheese till you get some of that government, not government, government cheese and put that in there. You had some macaroni and cheese. Now listen, I'm telling y'all, y'all done had this whole trip down memory lane. Who's got the ice house and get a block of ice for the, oh, I remember ice. Now my auntie in White Cloud, they actually had a cellar. Do y'all even know what a cellar is? She had a cellar. Aunt Grace had a cellar. And you know, you go and those big blocks of ice and all of that, you know, that's a whole nother existence. Now I'm gonna blow all of y'all out of the water, because even though, and I got witnesses in here that'll tell you I'm not lying, they canned and they did all of that. They put the food down in the cellar, but I'm 2 whole outhouse old. You understand what I'm saying? Not just the one, not a single hole in the outhouse, but we moved on up to the east side, and we had 2 holes in the outhouse. 2 holes in the outhouse. That meant 2 people could sit side by side and go to the outhouse at the same time. 2 holes. The ladies' restroom at our church, we didn't have indoor plumbing. The 2-hole outhouse was a blessing. It was a blessing from God. Y'all ain't ready for me. And we had lanterns. We did not have electricity, so we had the lantern with the handle and the globe and the wick on the inside with the oil, and you lit the lamp. Now see, that's how old I am. Now beat that. Beat that. Beat that, baby. We had the pump outside where you had to prime the pump, and you might get 2 or 3 pumps in before you saw the first drop of water. And you had to haul the water from the pump outside. Yes, we had kerosene lamps. You had to pump the prime that pump a few times before you saw the first drop of water. I'm the winner. I am the winner, because can't none of y'all touch that. Okay, can't none of y'all touch that. But let me get back to my story. Stirs the soul. You done took us down. You took us down the lane, and we had a great time. We had a great time. Y'all can't touch me. MCP 812, BTD Mom, SK 8843. Y'all can't beat us coming or going, because baby, we did all of that and then some. Please believe it. And the telephone that was a party line, and you just dialed the last 4 digits and you could hear the people talking on the phone all the way upstairs. Now beat that. And there were several people on the line at the same time listening to your conversation. Now beat that, will you? Beat that. I'm the winner, hands down. So there you go. Now listen, thank you for that run down memory lane. But I will say this. Cassandra said go down more. Cassandra, you ain't even right. She said, go down Moses way down to Egypt land and tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Woo! Y'all got me done. No, you can't touch touch this, Dr. Dady. Y'all can't touch it. Y'all cannot touch me, MCP 812, and BTD Mom. Y'all can't touch this. We got all of y'all beat. Please believe it. So at the end of the day, this has been hilarious. Baby, because MCP, she
It's a raid. Big Moochie, baby.
It's a raid, y'all. Here we go.
Big Moochie, baby. Hey, right now, we're going out to the entire set. We're going out to the whole entire set. Hear my last family. Let's see, it's called the
Here we
Straight
go.
Line. Step on over to your right.
To your right.
Step on over to your left.
To your left.
Step up, step up, step up. Now turn, now walk it on back.
Now walk it on back.
Don't move on over to your right.
To your right.
Now move it on over to your left.
To your left.
Step up, step up, step up. Now turn, now walk it on back. Now
Walk it on back. I'm watching you people. I see you. Misty Blue 3, I see you. D Rough 57, I see you. Come on in here, DJ Miss Classy, I see you. And she is a streamer. If you're not following her, quit chewing your ways. KB Browns, I see you, my brother. Miss V07, I see you. Come on in here. I see you in the room. Miss Smitty, come on in here. I appreciate you for being in the room. And one reason, and the gospel takeover is in the room. Miss Chocolata is in the room. I see you. Come on in here. Let's have a good time in the Lion's Den. Please refresh your screens. Hey. Now walk it on back. That's the way we do it in here, y'all. That's the way we do it in here. Let me stop. Listen, and we did celebrate my sister MCP 812, but we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna shut it down. Here we go. Now, welcome to the Raiders. I am the spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman. And listen, you're welcome to be here with us on today. One reason the Bishop of Twitch has come in the room. Good morning, SFC family. Please refresh your screens. And listen, we just had a walk down memory lane. Y'all missed it, but it was good, y'all. It was good. You had... Truck driver, you had to pull over to talk about the outhouses. We were rich because our outhouse had 2 holes. Please believe it. The outhouse at the church had 2 holes. I'm trying to tell you. And you sit down on that splintered wood and relieve yourself right on. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So, truck driver, I take it you know a little something about what I'm talking on. You know a little something about what I'm talking about. But that's the way we were raised. And the double barrel outhouse stirs the soul. I'm trying to tell you, it was awesome. Those were days, listen, and I'm trying to tell you, you want to make sure you had to kick, you had to do a little kicking before you sit down, because tie-dye, otherwise known as a snake, could be somewhere lurking near. It's the 4-cheek king, 4-cheek chic. That's what it was, stirs the soul. And we were doing something. Now, we had a little going down memory lane because I'm going to play this once more and again for those of you all that came in, because we're talking about things that older people are not ready to hear. That's the question this sister asked him. And there's a division, I feel, between our age. Oh yeah, snake, honey. Tie-dye was out there. KB Brown's tie-dye was lurking anywhere. You always were aware and conscious that you might encounter your friend on crawling on the ground. So, you always had. When you get home, KB Brown's, it's still an outhouse. That's the part that you're missing. When you went to church, it was an outhouse. But when I went to my grandfather's house, it was still another outhouse. So listen, how long you gonna hold it? I just want to know how long you gonna hold it. You got to go sometime. You got to let it go sometime. What did the girl say in the song? Let it go. Let it go. Oh, listen, I'm watching you people. Good morning to you. I'm going to share this once more and again. Let you just finish in the bush. Find a bush and relieve your. Let it go. One reason you can only hold it so long. Listen, it was gonna be more potential for snakes in the bushes, Rebel, than if you go in the outhouse. Lord Jesus, you going backwards. You're going backwards. Now, this is what started this journey down memory lane that stirs the soul, had us telling our age by the TV episodes of sitcoms that we watched, and we done went over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. And so I'm gonna bring us back. You don't want to be confined. Because it did have a door on it, and it would if you were claustrophobic, you didn't want the outhouse. Please believe it. Y'all said the burning bush. To kill the snake. Listen, KB Browns, you too much. This is what God is here, and we gonna get back on track with this right here. Here we go.
Especially older black people are not ready to hear.
I got 8 things for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out your way. Number 1, many of you abused us as children, and we are all recovering from our childhood. Number 2, white Jesus, let him go. Number 3, the pedophiles that exist within our own families that you all don't want us to talk about because you don't want the family to look bad. Stop protecting them. Number 4, stop teaching our young girls this idea of struggle love that they have to accept the bare minimum in relationships. Number 5, stop teaching our young boys that it's not okay to cry and or show emotion, that toxic masculinity has been passed down through far too many generations. Number 6, the homophobia in our community is based largely in part to the older generation and their religious beliefs that have long since been debunked. Number 7, stop gaslighting the younger people in your community and or in your family just because you're older and you think you deserve respect just because you're old, and some of y'all mad disrespectful. And last but not least, therapy. Stop telling us not to go get therapy. Stop telling us what happens in this house stays in this house. I'm done.
And he broke it down, and there it is. So what happened to bring the crew up to speed, how we got here? You know, I want to sing a little bit of how did we get here? Because I contend that the difference and the division that we saw in the chat, I would say, good morning, Barbara Hardy. There's my these are they friend. Come on in here. And nothing but mad love to you. I just looked up and saw your name. Miss Frosty 60803. An abundance and overflow of love to you. K2 Hoop, I see you. So much love. A mic drop right there, because he said what he said and he broke it all the way down. So this was a division that seemed to be potentially coming between some of us older versus some of the younger. The younger, this resonated very strongly with the younger. The older, not so much. Now, I will say this, and this is where I was headed, because we were taught a different idea of what is respect and what is disrespect. Yeah, honey, Prince Jacob rebuttal said every word he said was the truth. I get it. And so there's a different experience, I think, based on the dynamic of age. Now, I will say this. Some of the things, and y'all hold on to your weave and hold on to your wig. Some of the things, Queen Shauna, lovely one, come on in here. So much mad love to you. Come on in. Good to see you. I will say this, because I'm going to address the old people being mad disrespectful. Now, y'all, we can walk hand in hand without seeing eye to eye, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Some of those old people in our generation before us were absolutely positively disrespectful towards us. Now, the difference was we were taught that because they were old, that they required and demanded a certain respect because of their age. I remember older mother, if you will, that I had on a particular item, especially in the church. Now, we don't want to acknowledge that it's disrespectful, but it was a whole lot of disrespectful stuff that happened. We just didn't say anything to those older people because they were our seniors. Some of those old people were nasty. Some of them, I said what I said. Some of them were mean and surly. Some of them would say the most ugly, hurtful, derogatory things to us, but we were taught to take it. And I think that that's the generational difference. We were taught to take it. These young folk ain't having it. These young folk are like, listen, you come at me, I'm going to come at you with the same energy you came at me. Now, in my day, that would have been a total disrespect to return the energy the way that energy was delivered. But if that energy was nasty, if that energy was negative, I had a dress, and I've always at church especially, dressed very modestly, but it was cut in like a box back in the cut. And this older mother came and slapped me on my back, and it wasn't like my back was out. I'm talking about just you know how what I want to say, a neckline, they could be in that, it's cut in a square in the front, a square in the back, and it was not low and it was not dipping. And that old woman came and slapped the black off my back. Now, at the end of the day, y'all, that's disrespectful. We just were taught you were not going to retaliate, and you were not going to have a comeback to what was done. You were not going to have a comeback with what was said, and at the end of the day, there was a lot of disrespect that was done by our seniors, but we as older people were often taught that's okay, and they are able to say whatever they want to say, however they want to say it, and you just take it and shut up. But at the end of the day, and what he was addressing is that there is the need to have to heal from that. Because what? I'm almost 60 years old here in a minute, and I still remember that woman slapping me in my back. And I was a child. So, don't tell me it's not impactful. I still remember even before, okay, so come here. This story, I tell it many, many times. But at the end of the day, the old woman that my mother was helping her clean her house, that lived next door to my grandparents. And she said to my mother, I'm going to give you something for this one because she's skinny, black, and ugly, and gave my mother a penny. And at the end of the day, that's real talk and that's real stuff. Did disrespect happen to us by our seniors and our elders? It absolutely positively did. But we were taught a different response. We were taught differently what and how we could respond to a senior. So at the end of the day, was it traumatizing? Absolutely, because I'm 60 years old and that happened before I was even in kindergarten. And I still remember that woman telling my mother that I was skinny, black, and ugly, and giving my mother a penny. I still remember that. Don't tell me that's not traumatizing. Don't tell me that's not impacting. Don't tell me that yes, and I've been to counseling. I've been to therapy. Like he said, stop saying what happens in the house stays in the house. Don't repeat it. Because listen, some of y'all were raised in some hellholes. Some of us were raised, and I'm going to say us, my family, my parents were not abusers and this and that and the other. But at the end of the day, the imbalance that was in my house was the imbalance that was in my house, which tended to revolve around church. Church has really imbalanced a lot of black families. Now, for some of you, you had experiences where it was a literal hellhole. So, I think once more and again, what happens in the house stays in the house. This idea of no therapy and all of that, stop it. Stop with that. Stop with that. And some of us need to go back and just go ahead and acknowledge things were not as dreamy and as peachy as we would like to make them. But you can create your own reality. Don't we know? You can create your own reality. If that's what you choose to believe, whether it's the truth or not, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So I see you. I'm watching you people. Do as I say, not as I do. Come on, talk to me. Y'all talking to me. We had one of those over your youth department and they were just rude. And I'm telling you, Michelle, many of them were just, and why if you don't like young people, why are you in the youth department? Michelle, that part, the question, can somebody answer me that? You had old people that would put themselves in the youth department and they hated young folks. Please explain that to me. So all of this, and the kids had to take it, and you took it. Until you didn't. I got you, Shelly Thunder. And you finally get to a point where you're like, I've had enough. These young folks, on the other hand, you still remember things that were said to me and it wasn't out of love. Come on, tell the truth. Shame the devil. They used to tap my head and wake me up in church. So disrespectful, disturbing your peace on earth. sisters. I hear you. And it's still happening, Shelly Thunder. It's still happening. And it's still wrong on every level, Glenda Groves. And this part, I'm the way because of my childhood. I wouldn't spank my children unless it was absolutely necessary. And Demon Fox, come on. I appreciate you for that. Everybody did not have that experience. Please believe me when I say everybody didn't have that experience. And for some, their greatest abuse came inside the four walls of that family home. So, and that's a reality. But we as can we come here? A lot of times we as black people, we heard you don't go out. What happens at home stays at home. You don't go out here talking about what happened in the house. And I'm going to say it once more and again, 9 times out of 10, when you heard that line, there was something inappropriate going on in the house that people didn't want told. That's why they were saying that. So at the end of the day, we knew it was inappropriate. We just didn't want to tell anybody else what was going on. You were scared of them old women at the church. Come on, Miss Frosty 60803. There was no love. There was no embrace from some of them. And you could always tell the ones that were not like that because the kids would just flock to them like bees on honey. And so, this is some reality. And again, I'm going to say the difference between the generations that came behind us. Shelly Thunder said, I took it until I didn't. They're just like, we ain't going to take it the first time around. So it is what it is. And I think, can I come here just real quickly and I'm going to get out? I think that many times, the reality of that is because many of those generations that have come behind us, many of them are angry because they raised themselves. And there you have it. Many of them are angry because they raised themselves. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. They were their mother's best friends. They were their mother's voice of reason. They were their mother's sit-in raising of the other children. And I understand having to leave the house and work and this and that and the other. They filled in the gap in so many different ways. Even emotionally, I'm gonna put that in there because some of the generation was trying to be friends with your children instead of being the parents. And I think a lot of those children, and again, I'm gonna say this based on good morning, John Studios. So much love to you. I appreciate you. He is a streamer. And if you're not following John Studios, quit your wicked ways. Just quit your wicked ways. Because listen, he's going to bless your whole life, especially if he puts on his wife beater. Now, Generation X started the revolution and they were like, listen, we just not going to have it. I don't care how old you are. I'm going to give you the same nasty energy that you gave me. I'm going to give you that same nasty energy back. Now that I'm going to tell you, it makes me feel some kind of way because I almost am cringing when I listen to some of these young folk and the way that they talk to their parents and their grandparents. Things I never would have dreamed in my wildest nightmare of saying to my mother and my grandmother, my grandfather and my father. Honey, these kids will say it and not bat an eye and come back and, be like, and there you have it. And I dare you to say something to me. And it just makes me cringe. So it's like the pendulum. We were on that pendulum in my age group that swung all the way to the far left, and then you got the pendulum that came all the way and swung all the way to the far right. But the thing that I always like to say in that is ultimately with the pendulum, it's going to come back to the middle. And I think this is the phase and time of us coming back to the middle. I really, really do. Your dad called last week fussing at me about something I didn't do, and I snapped. He thought I hung up the phone on him, and at the end of the day, I told him, why would I answer the phone if I'm going to hang up on you? Come on, now I hear you talking. I was scared of the lady usher at the door with the mustache. KB, I should have read. I should have known to read your comment before I said it out loud. The lady at the usher at the door with the mustache. Maybe she was mad because she had a mustache. KB, I don't know. I should have known better than the. Oh my God. You're not disrespectful, but you're going to get the same energy. I'm older now. What you going to do? What you going to do? Whip me? I hear you talking. And listen, I'm going to tell you, the transition was happening in our group. in our age group. Because listen, I'm gonna tell you what, I had a sibling who I won't reveal which one, but I had a sibling who was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You can either beat me now or beat me later. But the beating, you know, the no conversation and not letting me be a human being, those days are over. You want to beat me now, you want to beat me later. And she literally would be like, you want to whip me before I leave? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave. And it wasn't a matter of leaving to do something negative. You know, there was a lot of control in some of the religious backgrounds and settings that some of us have come from. Z Lady C, good morning to you, and come on in here. So much mad love to you, and I'm giving appreciation to everybody. So listen, at the end of the day, that part right there, this brother was calling it for filth, and he said what he said. And as I said, we found a difference in opinion between our age groups. And I'm going to tend to go on the side of our younger people. It was disrespectful. It was disrespectful then. It's disrespectful now. We just didn't call it that. Now, I want to come here and let's get to some of the things that we're going to get. I'm going to move real fast. It's 8:25. I'm going to move real fast and we're going to cover some things. This brother here is talking about reparations. Let's address this and let's keep it pushing. So much mad love. Here we go.
People started making communities where they could accumulate wealth. Organizations like the KKK and white supremacists decided that didn't get to exist. Places like Black Wall Street, Rosewood, multiple others were burned to the ground and everyone was killed. Anyone that survived, all of their information was burned inside their houses. When black people went to the banks to retrieve their money, to rebuild everything, the bank said, no, all of their bank cards have been burned. They couldn't get their money back. All of those banks still exist and still have all their money, and it's all accumulated wealth. White people from that particular time in that area were able to get their money back. This is why reparations are necessary to atone for our actions. We literally created poverty on purpose for multiple people. After the Civil War, black people started making communities where they could accumulate wealth. Organizations like the KKK and white supremacists decided that didn't get to exist. Places like Black Wall Street, Rosewood, multiple others were burned to the ground and everyone was killed. Anyone that survived, all of their information was burned inside their houses. When black people went to the banks to retrieve their money, to rebuild everything, the bank said, no, all of their bank cards have been burned. They couldn't get their money back. All of those banks still exist and still have all their money, and it's all accumulated wealth. White people from that particular time in that area were able to get their money back. This is why reparations are necessary to atone for our actions. We literally created poverty on purpose for multiple people.
Now, the point that this brother brings up, and I'm gonna go ahead and come back into real time. And I did see your comment. I want to read it. Prince Jacob, I don't worry about the late comment, that you couldn't even make nonverbal. You better not make some nonverbal gestures, baby. Listen, the nonverbal would get you popped quicker than anything. Try to suck your teeth, roll your eyes. Baby, don't roll your eyes, honey. Them eyes gonna be rolling down the street. Please believe it. And you was gonna get mollywopped. I got you. And I wanted to get that in. I appreciate you for your comment, and thank you for that. Now, this part right here, they got money for wars and everything else. This part right here, and this is out there in my Discord for anybody that wants to look at it. But we understand he's talking about what happened after the Civil War. And the conversation that you hear so frequently repeated in the comments, you have white people who are taking to task. I didn't do that. You know, you're talking about what my grandparents did in slavery. He's not talking about slavery. He's talking about what happened after the Civil War. And he's telling the truth. After the Civil War, when blacks were given their freedom and they were establishing and creating wealth, then you had the government and the communities literally come in and destroy those communities, take those people's money in the banks. And so he's talking about reparations again, not talking about slavery. He's talking about the wrong and the injustice that was done against black people after the Civil War. And this is the point that a lot of people don't want to hear. that want to keep telling this story. Well, I didn't do that. My, whatever, slavery, da da da. We're talking about things that can literally be tracked, that you can actually identify that this land was taken over and possessed illegally, that these people were killed wrongfully, that this money was in the bank and owned and possessed by these black people, that we literally took their monies illegally. These are things that we can actually track and identify. And basically he's saying we need to give back to the people in the black community what we took from them wrongfully, forcefully, violently, and we need to give them reparations for the as he said, the poverty that we created. Please hear the point of created poverty. It was not a matter, as a lot of people want to say, one person came on and say, well, I'm of German descent, and my grandparents came here and they did da 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 and yada 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 yada. And but the point being, we need for people to understand that there is the reality that the closer you were to white, the more you could assimilate to white. You did not have the same attack. You did not have the same deeds done against you, the same dastardly deeds done against you that were overtly done against black people. So this part right here, I don't want to hear about your grandparents, and don't go back to slavery. He's talking about the injustices that have been done since the Civil War, and we won. At the end of the day, this whole concept of no reparations are not needed, he takes that to task. He deals with it for his white counterparts. And again, I'm saying once more and again, we need our white brothers and sisters to talk to the white brothers and sisters, because the issue of racism is not black people's issue. I want to play this. I'm going to come here. It seems like it's falling in line with where I want to be. Toni Morrison makes a comment, and I love, y'all know I love me some her anyway, but I want you to hear what she says. And she's talking about racism. She's addressing it. And I hope that we as people of color can really embrace fully in totality what she's saying. And here we go. I think I missed some of the beginning of it, so I'm going to let it roll back. I'm going to roll it twice. So here we go.
White person, I don't mean the person who is examining his consciousness and so on, doesn't understand that he or she is also a race. It's also constructed. It's also made, and it also has some kind of serviceability. But when you take it away, I take your race away. And there you are, all strung out, and all you got is your little self. And what is that? What are you without racism? Are you any good? Are you still strong? You still smart? You still like yourself? I mean, these are the questions. It's part of it is, yes, the victim, how terrible it's been for black people.
You don't like that.
I'm not a victim. I refuse to be one.
And the victim is the other person who is morally inferior. And
that's a serious question.
To
of course.
Racism
if you
to
have the whole,
for his or her own self-esteem and definition.
If you can only be tall because somebody's on their knees, then you have a serious problem. And my feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it. Take me out of it. But if the racist white person, I don't mean the person who is examining his consciousness and so on, doesn't understand that he or she is also a race. It's also constructed. It's also made. And it also has some kind of serviceability. But when you take it away, I take your race away. And there you are, all strung out, and all you got is your little self. And what is that? What are you without racism? Are you any good? Are you still strong? You still smart? You still like yourself? I mean, these are the questions. It's part of it is, yes, the victim, how terrible it's been for black people.
You don't like that.
I'm not a victim. I refuse to be one.
And the victim is the other person who is morally inferior. and
That's
who
what- that's a
has
serious
to hold
question.
on to
Of course.
racism
If you
to
have the
somehow
whole, that's
for his or her own self-esteem and definition.
if you can only be tall because somebody's on their knees, then you have a serious problem. And my feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it. Take me out of it. But if
Now, I love the way she worded that, and I'm gonna give it up for her. Good morning, T Money 0728. Thank you for being a first time chatter, and welcome to the Lion's Den. So much love coming to you. Now, as I always reiterate here, we're not talking about all white people. We're talking about racist white people. So let's be clear on that. We're talking about racist white people, and she's talking specifically about racism. So first and foremost, and I really, if you can only be tall when someone's on their knees, one reason, that listen, all day long. That comment right there was worth $1 billion. And I want us, and as we are uniting together and we're building something, I want us to come to this mindset. First and foremost, I'm not the victim. I'm not the victim. Good morning, Cortez 101. Good to have you in the Lion's Den. I'm not the victim. The victim is the one that is morally inferior. Come on, I hope y'all caught that. I'm not the victim. And as she said, I'm not a victim. I don't see myself as a victim. Because at the end of the day, if the only way you can be tall is to put me on my knees, if the only way you can be wealthy is to exploit my labor, if the only way you can get ahead is to burn my house and take my money and steal it from me literally right out of the bank, if we go through this place and space at someone else's expense to make ourselves feel better, if somebody, and this goes in any relationship period, if somebody has to sacrifice who they are to make you feel better, that is not a good relationship. Hear me. And I don't care what it is. I don't care for some of you all in your churches. I don't care some of you all in your intimate relationships, in your friendships, in your business situations and dealings. If somebody has to sacrifice themselves and who they are to be able to stand and feel like I'm a big, tall person by putting you on their knees, that is an unhealthy relationship. And walk away. Walk away. I'm just going to tell you, walk away, Sheila Stillman. Come on in here. If it's a toxic relationship, it's a totally toxic relationship. So this is what we're understanding and being very clear about in racism. That at the end of the day, we have, I've said it before, I'll keep saying it again. When you deal from that racist energy, then understand that's a parasite that is trying to live off of a host. And when you get rid of the parasite, you're not going to suck my blood out. You're not going to, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, whatever way you want to come at me, if this is the only energy that you can come at me and come out on top and standing up by trying to put me on my knees, I'm going to walk away from that. I'm going to absolutely positively walk away from that. So as we go into this place of walking and talking and living, I want us first as a black community to understand, and again, this is open to everybody, not just black folks, but as I say, the black people's house is on fire by design. As the brother said in the earlier, the poverty was created It didn't just happen. This poverty was created. Cortez, I'm talking right now. I'll get to, you can put it in and one of my mods will address it. But this was created. So the poverty that you created and this that you've put me under, at the end of the day, when I say I no longer want to live here and I no longer want to be in this kind of energy, I no longer want to be in this relationship where I am the host and you are being a parasite and draining everything out of me. You're draining out of my community. You're draining out of my resources. You're draining out of my mental. You're draining out. You're draining. And I'm done. I'm done hosting you. Then this is where we get the energy where people want to push back. How dare you not let me be a parasite and live off of you? You've been my host low this many years. But this is where I'm saying to us, we are not the victim. The victim is really the parasite that does not understand that they are morally inferior. I said morally inferior. If I can kill your children and feel nothing, you are morally inferior. If I can take the money that you earned and steal it from you right out of the banking institution, I am morally inferior. If I can talk about, oh, you're draining our resources, but I give bailouts and failouts where you can fail up, as our sister said on yesterday, I give bailouts and failouts to the wealthy and then complain about assistance to the poor when the wealthy in that situation that actually failed the banks get bailed out with my tax dollars, but you get the salary and a bonus, but you want to walk away and say, and I'm sick of taking care of the poor and the working poor with my tax dollars. It's our money, but you are putting our money to bail out banks and then giving salaries and bonuses to the people that failed the banks. Baby, if that's not public assistance, I don't know what public assistance is. You are morally inferior if you think that is right. You are morally inferior if you think, and deep down in your heart of hearts, you know it's not. You know that's not right. But because we have created this kind of world where right is wrong and wrong is right, as long as it's making money, you know, this whole system that's all about, honey, what kind of coin can I get off of that? If I can make money from that, then it's all good. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. So these are the places that I want us to begin to understand. Moral inferiority, Cassandra. That's exactly what it is. Moral inferiority. And this is greed. It's all wrapped up in greed, Miss P. Smitty. So this is where I want to say, I'm not the victim. You victimizing yourself, because at the end of the day, still I rise. And this is where we come to a point where we begin to say, and we made your table, we made your chairs. Now we're getting ready to make our own table and our own chairs, and we're going to do justly by our people. Money is their God. Come on with that. Still I rise, my life journey. So this is where we have, this is what really creates the anger that you get, that energy of anger. When you realize the only reason why I'm taller than you is because I've cut you off down to your knees and you're kneeling by force and by violence, then as she said, if you take that away, are you good? If you take that away, what do you have left? Once you take all of that away, what do you have left? You have nothing but to look at yourself in the mirror and realize how dastardly, mean, and evil you've been to people for no reason other than your own personal pride, ego, and greed. And how you can sleep at night and feel good about yourself, I don't understand. But at the end of the day, as Toni Morrison said, take me out of it. The issue is not mine. The issue is yours. The morally inferior person, the issue is yours. It's not my issue. Don't make me try to solve your issue. But this is what I'm saying to us as a black community. Don't stand still and just come on. It's time for us to build. It's time for us to break and build. It's time for us to come together and build what is right for us to have. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to come from government. It's not going to come all these other ways that we've been talking about, child. At the end of the day, it's going to come from us coming together and beginning to create the world that we want to see. And in that, we're not putting anybody else down. We're not demeaning anybody else. We're not being derogatory towards anybody else. But our house is on fire. We're putting the fire out, and then we're reconstructing our house. And ain't nothing wrong about that. There's nothing negative about that. That's nothing. And so at the end of the day, this is where I want us, listen, I love it. I love it. I love it. A strip mall with all black women-owned brands just opened in D.C., y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Let's redo this thing. I'm going to go back and read some of these comments. SK, they know they're wrong, but they justify their actions with white supremacy. Come on. KB Browns, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And it's the love of money, not money. The love of money. Always be clear on that. Prince Jacob, the MCP, this is real talk. They can't function without their warfare tactics because they know they are morally, and I'm going to keep putting morally inferior in there. Queen Shauna, you remember getting physically sick from running yourself to please people and fighting to be true to yourself. Went to the doctor to find out your illness was due to emotional stress, and that was your wake-up call. Come on, that's a wake-up call for many of us. Our health begins screaming at us and saying, no, listen, our health is telling us all the while. No. Why is our health so much poorer than our counterparts? Because of the stress that we're continuously under. I can't walk out the door without knowing I'm going to be able to come back in when I leave without being shot up and killed by somebody for no reason. That's stressful. They don't want to look in the mirror at all. They live in their ignorance so they can cope with their dastardliness. Come on with that word, my lock. Y'all better talk to me. We roaring up in here, Misty Blue. So this is where we're looking. Of course you want to make America grapes again. When you're in the business of making wine, and I'm going to give it up for you, Stirs the Soul, because you my guy. We're talking in here. And come on, Miss Frosty, we don't have time for competition. We don't have time for competition. Ain't nobody trying to have no competition up in here. We're coming together, we're unifying, and we're doing what we need to do to be able to make the world that we want to see and live the lives that we want to have. This strip mall with all black woman-owned brands. Come on, come on, come on. I love it. I love it. Create our own economy, people. Create our own economy. I'm not going to keep going back through hashing this and that and the other. It's time for us to create our own economy. Now, listen, and this right here, I'm going to deal with PTSD. I got several things I'm throwing in here, and this is going to be a hodgepodge, but I want several things that I want y'all to hear. Here we go.
Syndrome is an explanatory theory that really looks at multi-generational trauma. One of the things that's difficult for people is their first response is, oh my God, that happened so long ago. We're talking about people being captured, shipped, sold, beaten, raped, experimented on. And then you have to ask the question, did the trauma continue? Yes. So 300 years of trauma, no help, freed. No help, more trauma. If it's a sustained trauma, then the impact of that is also sustained. When we look at multi-generational trauma, we're looking at people who are maybe victims of natural disasters and their families and their children and generations of folks who have experienced war. And we know that there are residual mental, emotional, traumatic impact. And what I did was I started to look at the African American experience, starting with slavery, as a real clear, long enduring trauma. I started to see that there were clear connections between that survival behavior and contemporary living in African American experience. I started to see common behaviors that I took for granted as, well, cultural. There's adaptive behaviors, survival behaviors. Well, what are they? Let's just say 2019, you have a black mother and a white mother. The sons go to school together. They find themselves at a meeting. The black mother leans over to the white mother and says, I just wanted to mention to you that I noticed that your son is really doing quite well. And the white mother's response is, oh, thank you. She begins to go on and on about he won the science fair, his uncle's an astronaut. She's just oozing. She realizes the black mother's son is actually excelling her son. And she says, well, wait a minute. Your son's the one that's really coming along. And the black mother responds, oh my God, he's a handful, but oh, he just works my nerves. Now, when I'm working with African American people, it doesn't matter what the audience is. It doesn't matter what class. If I were to ask, is she very proud while she's saying those denigrating things? And everybody laughs and goes, of course, there's a secret. Because everybody black knows that even though the black mother is going, oh my God, she's really proud. So now let's roll that scene back 300 years. And let's say this black mother is working in the fields and a white slave owner comes through and says, wow, that boy is really coming along. What is she going to say? No, he's not. He's stupid. He's shiftless. He can't work because I don't want you to sell him. So I denigrate them to protect them. That is called appropriate adaptation when living in a hostile environment. The little white boy, say Timmy, he feels really comfortable and happy about what his mom just said about him. And Trey looks at his mom and wonders, why can't you be proud of me? Because he doesn't understand the secret yet. And by the time he learns the secret, he will have already been injured by it. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. PTSD is a disorder that occurs as a result of a single trauma. You don't even have to be there to actually get a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. You could just hear about something horrific happening to someone you love. So you have people who have experienced it firsthand, people who have witnessed it in their environment, right? People who are continuing to be oppressed. That exacerbates any possibility of healing. So it's not post-traumatic stress disorder, because then it becomes part of what we call your socialization process. So you begin to normalize a way of living and being, everything from what we eat to what we believe it means to be a friend. All of these things are colored by history. And if you don't understand it, you're going to fold in things that you've just assumed are normal. But post-traumatic stress disorder, exaggerated startle response, outbursts of anger, feeling of foreshortened future. There was a point where there were African American children in different urban settings that didn't expect to live to be adults because they saw so much death that they started planning their funerals like at 13, 12, as young as 10. When you start looking at the simple biology, you start looking at the impact of stress on health. And while we look at general stress, finances, you have illnesses, all these different things. How about being black? How does factoring in being black in America impact your stress level and therefore your body's ability to operate its own immune system? Because we know it compromises the immune system. Once you understand it, then you can deal with it. Because you see, it's habitual. You socialize. It becomes part of your being. So one of the ways you begin to address that multi-generational trauma is to work with the people it directly impacts, to hear from them. And when you give the people the information, they can use it. I think the first order of business is beginning to have a conversation. And the other is to educate the larger society. You have to stop the assault. So this is not purely a clinical thing. This requires social justice and change. That's where part of the healing is. It's not in a clinical setting or in a pill. It's in fairness and justice and safety and equity. We got to work with some of those clinical things, some of those issues of panic and anxiety. And we also have to deal with the fact that you have a system that is set up to oppress you and to continue to injure you. Both those things have to be dealt with. And they cannot singularly by themselves affect a change. They have to be done collectively. Traumatic slave syndrome.
Okay, powerful. This right here. That listen, let me give it up. This because, as she said, the system is set up to do it and it continues to do it. That's real talk. Again, I'm gonna keep saying this to you. We're the victor, not the victim. We are the Tors, not the Tims. I haven't said that in a long time. Y'all know I was really on that for a while. We are the Tors, not the Tim. But spiritual thought leader, how can you say that when we keep having all this that continues to happen to us? Because again, I'm going to continue to push what Sister Morrison said so many years ago. I'm not the victim. When I'm looking at the person that is morally inferior to me, I realize they are the victim. It's not my problem. I'm going to say it again because I need you all to get this all the way down in your shondo. And we really need to shift our energy out of the victim stance. We need to shift our energy out of the victim mindset. They just keep victimizing us. No, they're victimizing themselves because they're morally inferior. This is where I want us to understand, because the system is set up this way, number one, and as she said, number two, they continue to do it. So understand that's the way it's established, but you have to shift your mentality and the way that you deal with it so you can break that chain and not be captive to that. Now, she said something really powerful, and I'm gonna start right here, and I know it's 8:55, so it's almost time for me to get out. Welcome, somebody just joined, and hi Jabals. Okay, at the end of the day, welcome. I want us to understand this, that one of the things that she said, so powerful. This is in my, she broke it down beautifully. She broke that thing down beautifully. When she talked about why we denigrate the difference between Timmy's mom, and Timmy's mom wants to, oh, my son is this, and this. But then when she realized that her son was excelling and exceeding her son, and she felt some kind of way, but she did, give some congratulatory remarks. And immediately the black mother starts denigrating and giving negative energy. And I want y'all to pay attention to this. I want you all to pay attention. Some of you have experienced it where it was like, wow, I can never be enough. Wow, I can never do enough. Wow. Some of us, can I just hear the words, I love you, son? Can I just hear the words, I love you, daughter? Can we just hear those words? But what I'm showing you when I pay the bills, I'm showing you, no, you're paying the bills because you got to pay the bills. That does not necessarily translate to me as a child that you love me. I need to hear that you love me. I need to have contact and affection. I need to have embrace. I need to. And this is something, as she pointed out very clearly, because mothers and fathers found all the way back at the plantation that hopefully, if I can talk about how lazy and shiftless and unproductive my child is, possibly you won't separate us and sell him off. So we understand the core of that energy and where it comes from. And at the end of the day, that's real talk, but then to understand that low generations later, when we still operate in scenarios where those children, and listen, I've seen it with kids that are making straight A's and they still feel like they're not enough. They never hear from those parents the accolades, like Timmy's mom. Oh, she's just making over him like I don't know what. We find ourselves void of that. And I'm saying to the parents, turn that thing around. I'm saying to those of you that have experienced that, and even if your parents can't turn that energy around with them themselves, or if your parents have already transitioned and you can't call them back to this plane, I want you to begin to embrace within your own mindset, understanding where and how that originated in the Black community, and that energy that somehow was unable to have that same liberty and that same freedom to make over us as children, lest something negative come out of that, lest something that separates us come out of that, lest my child be taken away, or in some instances injured and killed, because there are a lot of Timmy's mothers. And I'm going to just say this. There are a lot of Timmy's mothers out of the Karen community that if that Black child is superseding my white child, I'm going to do whatever I can to tear down and displace your Black child to make sure your Black child does not get Timmy's spot in whatever it is I want him to have. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So that energy is still out there. That energy is still competitive. That energy is still looking at our genius children and saying, out of that racist mentality, we got to take them out or else we're in trouble. And then we as parents in the Black community, we need to give that same assurance, that same confidence, that same energy that Timmy's getting from his mom. We need to make sure we're giving that same energy to our kids, to our grandkids, to the neighbors, to stop with the negative talk. Stop already with the negative talk. And I hear some of us saying some of the very same things that the Kens and the Karens are out there saying in the racist community. And I'm gonna touch on that because I got this Black brother that I got queued up. And when I tell you this Black brother says everything negative he can say about the Black community, right on down to if you don't like it, there's planes flying out every day, get on one and leave. Insanity. But when we start regurgitating and repeating the same stuff that Karen and Ken is saying, Houston, there is a problem. Now, she broke that thing down. She gave it a term. I'm going to come back and play it again tomorrow. But listen, this is where we've got to start turning things around. This is where we've got to start operating and maneuvering differently. We got to move differently, y'all. We have to move differently. I want us to start first and foremost with how we speak and what we say. None of our children should walk away feeling like I'm never good enough. And I'm talking about in all social classes of Black homes. No child should walk away feeling like they're not good enough because they're not getting the reinforcement from us, not only the parents, but the community, because it takes a village to raise the child. The whole village needs to be saying the same thing. Y'all stop with, oh, child, they're overactive and they get on my nerves and I wish I could give them away. And da-da. You may feel all of that, but baby, don't say that in front of your children. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. You may feel all of that. And then I want you to deal with where's the root of that coming from? Where is the root of that coming from? And if you need support, let's build a community that gives you support, but let's stop talking negative stuff over our children. Please, please, please stop it already. Make these babies know that they are enough. Some of y'all are still struggling at the age and place that you are right now. You still feel like you're fighting, trying to prove that you are enough. Where does that come from? Even from the most loving parents and households, many times we are still failing on that front. I'm gonna say it again. We are failing on that front. And we need to do it as a community because it takes a village to build this child. Quit it. Start praising these babies, Prince Jacob. Y'all hear me talking in here. Misty Blue, Crystal Method, Dr. Dady Priest, KB Brown, Shelly Thunder. Please and thank you. That's what we're getting ready to build. We're building something. We are building. The first thing we're going to build is one another. We're going to build ourselves and build one another. Stop with the tear down and let's build. Now listen, this breaking and building is necessary because we're coming out of this. We're not going to continue in this trend. It won't be this way always. That's what we're telling you here in the Lion's Den. I'm so glad that you came in and you see my mantra. It's our mantra together as a Pride of Lions. This pride, Pride. This Pride of Lions is relentless and you're going to hear us roar. So at the end of the day, please be clear on this. We don't have a spirit of fear. We don't have a spirit of intimidation. We have power. We have love. We have a sound mind. And listen, we're going to be the change that we want to see. Absolutely. And it's us, you, me, we, all, because we all are in this thing together. I want to appreciate everybody in the house today that has been a blessing. To my moderators, I appreciate my mods. I absolutely positively do. There's nobody like them in all the earth. Michelle Browno, the Rebel Inc. is where we're headed. Come on and ride this raid train. We're over there. We're headed over there. And Shelly Thunder, I want to appreciate the new followers, and one reason, the Bishop of Twitch. Thank you for that raid. I appreciate you, my brother, and everybody that rode over with him on that raid from the SFC family. I want to say thank you to every new first timer that's here. Welcome and thank you for coming, and please come again because you're always welcome in the Lion's Den. Now come on and ride this raid train. We're headed over to the Rebel Inc. We're going to have some anti-morning bangos and we're going to have the cracks. Come on and ride with us because she's going to bless your whole shondo. Now, as my moderators always say, I want you to have an amazing day on purpose. Do what you love what you do, and peace for your journey.